Hello, historians. This is Mr. Fredo. Episode 4 in our Middle Ages quick mini lesson sequence is focused on one of the most important pieces of paper, a document, throughout the history of the world, the Magna Carta. The Magna Carta is Latin. That's what those two words are. They're Latin words, and it translates to Great Charter. And charter really means agreement. Well, the key question here then is, why did there need to be this great agreement in England in the 1200 CE, and who was it between? Who is ultimately going to both sign and make agreements to this Magna Carta? Here's the situation in England in the 1200 CE. King John was in power, and he was pretty much universally hated, although this wasn't totally uncommon, but he was pretty much universally hated by the people of England, and especially the nobles. They had this huge list of complaints about what the king was doing that they thought was completely unfair. For example, the king had the power to throw people in jail without ever having any evidence that they had committed a crime. If he wanted to jail someone, he could do it. That's the type of power he had. He also had the ability to pick judges. So in the court system, when one of those people who were arrested without any evidence that they committed a crime were sent on trial, the judges who were ruling on those cases were handpicked by the king. So it was impossible that they were going to get a fair trial. People were also mad that the king wasn't even following his own laws, whether he had laws about taxing or laws about general public code and how they were supposed to act in public. Everyone else was expected to follow the laws or else, except for King John. People were really, really bothered by that, especially the nobles. And then lastly, because the king didn't have any advisors, he was able to basically make up whatever law he wanted, no matter how unfair it was. So a group of people who we looked at in our feudalism mini lesson, the nobles, they decide they're going to take a stand. They're going to write up this document, which is basically a big list of everything that they are demanding is changed and that the king agrees to. And this is a risky move by the nobles. They are a group of people in a lower status than the king. The king has way more power than them, but they feel like it's essential that they get the king to make this agreement, and they're willing to take the risk because right now, the feudal relationship, the lord-vassal relationship between the nobles and between the king is fractured. It's not completely broken, but it's fractured, and if they don't fix it, they're going to run the risk of losing control throughout the kingdom of England. So King John actually does agree to sign it, which is also an interesting move because he knows as soon as he signs it, he is going to lose power. But he also realizes if he doesn't, the nobles have the ability to make him lose complete control of everything. So he agrees to sign the Magna Carta. In the process of doing so, some big changes come across England. Now there's a new law called habeas corpus that says you do have to have evidence in order to be arrested for a crime. You can't just arrest anybody for no reason. Another change brought on because of the Magna Carta is the king is no longer allowed to appoint judges. They were going to be elected, so the courts were completely free of royal control or royal influence. The king also had to obey the laws, just like everyone else, which is also going to mean he's not going to make laws that are so unfair that he wouldn't be able to follow them. He also gets a set of advisors who are going to help him make those key critical decisions. So a big moment throughout history, a very important piece of paper. It's kind of a binding document and a binding agreement between people that's really going to set the stage for other documents throughout the future, including the United States Constitution.